Hello everyone, Chef Eric here and welcome back to the YouTube channel for yet another amazing recipe. And today we're going to be making these absolutely gorgeous and delicious homemade spaghetti and meatballs, and they're gonna whip up super quick and they're super easy to make and will please any crowd. So let's get started. So obviously you're gonna start with some minced meat in a large mixing bowl, along with some onions and some crushed garlic, and along with one egg and some breadcrumbs. The egg and the breadcrumbs are really important for this recipe, and I'll explain a little bit later. So once you've added those in, add in some salt, pepper, paprika, and give everything a really good mix. You could do any spices that you have, and it will turn out even better. The egg helps everything bind together so it doesn't fall apart in the pan, and the breadcrumbs, since the egg will loosen the minced meat, obviously the breadcrumbs make it hold together and also stop it from becoming dry, because they'll capture a lot of water, and by the time that they're drying out once again, because they're originally dry, they're fully cooked and they're done, and they'll also be absolutely delicious and juicy. Once you're done, you're gonna just gently take your meatballs and shape them in between your two hands just to form some nice and even balls. You want to just do a tablespoon measure so you don't have balls that are too big and others that are too small. Just gently measure, and yeah, it'll be fine. So yeah, just gently roll them out. You could stuff them with cheese or anything you have on hand, and or you could just keep them just the way they are, and also be absolutely delicious. I'm doing these with spaghetti, but you can do them with rice, or you could even just have them on their own. They are that good. So once I was done with all of mine, personally I froze mine for a bit just before I started to pan fry so that they can hold their shape, because they were really hard. They were really soft, sorry. So in a large frying pan, you're gonna go in with some vegetable oil and then add in your meatballs and fry them on each side until they're nice and golden brown. This beautiful searing now will hold the shape, obviously, and also will give it a really nice flavor, and everything will just be trapped in the meatball and it'll be just nice, keyword. And then you wanna, once it is nice and golden brown on one side, flip them over and cook them on the other side. These do not need to be fully cooked through, not at all. We are going to cook them in the sauce later on, so don't stress. Just get a nice sear and take them off the pan and leave that all that is in there, along with all that meaty goodness that is stuck to the bottom of the pan. That's all going to be useful when we're making our sauce. Now once you've taken them all out, you can now make our base tomato sauce. You could use store-bought sauce if that's what you have or that's what you like to use, but I'm going to show you guys how to make a super delicious homemade tomato sauce. So obviously we're gonna start with some more onions and fry that up until the onion is nice and translucent, or until it is nice and fried up. It will turn a little bit brown because of the meat at the bottom, but it will scrape everything off, and trust me, absolutely amazing. Add in your cloves of garlic. I'm thinking about 2 cloves. You could use more or less, and you want to deglaze with water, especially if you don't have enough oil. Add in your tomatoes along with some tomato paste, and just give everything a really good mix. And if your pan is seeming a little bit dry, add in a little bit of water as you go, just for everything to start to stew and tomatoes to start to break down, and so that you can form a nice and even sauce. So once you have all of that done and you have your base sauce formed, it's really important to have the base sauce formed. You could blend this, but personally I do not like to blend because it's a bit of work transferring to a blender and then adding it back in. That's just too many dishes. Season with salt and pepper, and then add your meatballs directly onto the meatball sauce just the way it is. And then you want to cover with water and just let it sit in the pan for about 20 to 25 minutes, just for the water to fully reduce. And by this time the meatballs will be nice and cooked through. They will not be dry, don't worry. The breadcrumbs really help. They will not be dry, and the sauce will be nice and thick. Just cover them a quarter of the way or half of the way full, depending on how much time you have on hand. In the meantime, once the meatballs are almost fully done, you want to boil your spaghetti or your pasta. And don't cut your spaghetti, please. Just don't cut it. It's always better when it's in nice long strands. So usikate, please don't make the trend of cutting spaghetti a thing. Just gently twirl it around in the pan, and eventually, due to the hot water, it will break down, just sink inside. Don't cut it, please. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that. Take it off the heat and run it under some cold water so it stops cooking. Add it to your beautiful meatball sauce, but if you don't want to do that, just have your spaghetti at the bottom of the plate and then pop your meatballs over the top. You can totally do that. and give everything a really good mix. At this point I realized I had made too much spaghetti, but it is totally fine. Serve and enjoy. If you do happen to try this recipe, I have my socials here, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more amazing recipes every single Monday.